Hello everyone and welcome back to ACSL. We have got 10 seconds remaining of this free practice session and we are all set to head into qualifying, a qualifying which should be delivering some fantastic laps at the limit. Now, if you take a very good look at the machines that are going round, I wouldn't really say cars, so I went with machines. Because we've got trucks, and not just trucks. We've got NASCAR, the Craftsman Series, which would have happened yesterday as well. I'm sure all the NASCAR fans would have watched that. Well, I think it would have happened yesterday. I know that they run on Fridays. It's O'Reilly Auto Part today, isn't it? So it's O'Reilly Auto Part today, and then it is Cup Series tomorrow. Now, I'm not a NASCAR broadcaster. I'm not a NASCAR commentator. I've done one NASCAR race in my whole life of commentary, real life. I've done one esports one, and that was in ACSL. So I'd just like to reiterate, we're learning together, okay? So if there is any NASCAR fans, let me know everything in terms of anything about real life or anything just, you know, NASCAR, basically. I'm very much a UK-based commentator who commentates on single seaters. Okay, so we'll see how this goes, shall we? It's going to be a fun little adventure across, well, 15 minutes of qualifying, and then 25 laps, that's about 40 minutes of racing. And we're about a minute away from getting qualifying underway. I'm already being told to spectate specific drivers. Fantastic. Let's take a look at the live chat as we wait. And as we wait, why not bring you all the way up to your favourite cam of all, the commentator's cam. We've got Minecraftsman. Yeah, absolutely. Then we've got Ryan Cold's dad in the chat. Hello as well. We've got Ryan Cold themselves. And I'm being told to go on and spectate Ryan Cole. Maybe in about 30 seconds time. When we go into the session. But I'm well set, raring to go. Just like last week, I'd like to apologise in advance if I say anything wrong in this broadcast. I am someone who is coming off Melbourne with a very much screwed up sleep schedule. And the same thing's happening this weekend with F1 and F1 Academy at Shanghai. Okay, so point is, if there is anything that is quite obvious, which I either miss or say slightly wrong, then, you know, it's just be aware. Just be aware in advance. Okay, because if you're a UK viewer of NASCAR, I'm sure your sleep schedule probably isn't the best as well, especially with how late some of the Cup Series races go. But, yeah, Melbourne and Shanghai back-to-back and all-nighters across the board mean that it's not ideal, okay? So, this is meant to be the rest time, but I mean, ACSL's on, so obviously there's not going to be any rest for me. There's nowhere else I'd rather be. I mean, I wouldn't mind being in bed, but ACSL's on, as I mentioned. So there is priorities. Like I'm prioritizing all of the stuff going on at Shanghai over my sleep. I'm also kind of prioritizing ACSL when I should be sleeping. Now it's too confusing. So I'm not going to continue rambling on, and that is probably a good thing, because as I was just telling you a few moments ago, we have a qualifying to cover. And we're already just over 1 minute down. George Gibbons in the chat. My safety rating is cooked this race. Now, yes, safety rating. That is so important. Now, I know a lot of the safety ratings aren't looking ideal. That's all I'll say. That's all I'll say. Some aren't looking ideal. Okay? Other drivers are better than others. But I'm sure the drivers will know who they are, the ones who've been involved in plenty of incidents. It is not looking good. So, the drivers have been told that they need to behave themselves. They need to drive cleanly. And while this is a very unusual combo, we're taking NASCAR, over to Europe. Not only that, we're not doing it at an oval, which I know, of course, in real life NASCAR do actually use some road courses, but, you know, they're more likely to be on an oval. That's where the, I guess, what should I say, main races, like, the majority are done. And if you think NASCAR, you think oval racing, pretty much. And then I guess for IndyCar it's the other way around, isn't it? IndyCar do ovals as well, but when you think IndyCar, your mind does... Of course it goes to the 500, which, yes, the 500, you know, is up there as one of the greatest motorsport races of all time. For lots, it is the greatest one of the year. Okay? Everyone has their own favourites, everyone has their own picks. So while IndyCar, yes, is represented by that 500, I think across the board, I would say my thought process would think road course when you think of IndyCar, but IndyCar of course do ovals as well. So it's kind of a scenario like that, where NASCAR you'd link more to ovals, IndyCar you'd link more to road courses, even with the 500 being what it is. So it's kind of like that with this, where we are at a road course as well. Like we are at a, you know, a permanent built facility. Not just any permanent built facility. Brands Hatch, in lots of people's eyes, one of the great circuits in all of circuits. I was about to say in all of motor racing. But, you know, we'll just go with circuits. Oh, fantastic. Over the line we go. Let's get some lap times on the board. Massaro, Sprite, Given, Wellerman, Brantos, Mayonertz, Perez. Glez has gone up to 6th now. In the chat, Demon Slayer saying good luck Ryan and George. So those two are getting the support. It'll be a rolling start procedure, by the way, so don't worry. While we are switching a few things that NASCAR would probably be used to, we aren't going to switch absolutely everything. No. We're still going to be having the rolling start. They will go 2 by 2, and then we will release them. And we will get underway for this party. And it's not just any party, it's ACSL on a Saturday at 7 PM with another fun and wild race about to come your way. What is there not to love? What is there not to love? Wherever you're watching this one, whether you are here supporting a driver, whether you're just finding the league, welcome. It is great to have you with us for what is going to be an amazing March, which makes the days tick down even quicker until we can get season number 7 underway of this fantastic league. The journey that was kicked off in season 1 with Crown and Cove Mayonertz the champion by a single point to Dantis Papen is about to now tick over to season number 7 and a whole new era of racing. And could we see a new name emerge at the front? Only time will tell. Sprite is now the quickest driver overall. It's 900ths of a second. 1 minute 25.994 is the advantage. I can see Alan Sindelar. It's been a while since I've commentated on him. But great to have him back. I think he's just having a few issues. He's trying to get in. So, 9 minutes and 20 seconds on the clock to go. In what is a 15-minute qualifying. Ryan Cole wanted himself on screen. Don't know whether he's muted me or he's still listening to commentary. But, there he is! We've put him on screen as well. Here we go. We're going to get a close look at his car. Blasts past. Does, well, on screen the number 11 in terms of what's on the livery. Live timing suggesting car 4. But, you know, luckily it's esports. I know where I'm clicking onto, and unless my sleep is going to let me down, or sorry, rather the lack of sleep would let me down. Don't worry, I will be identifying properly. I'll hope. I will hope. Opening lap sometimes is a different story. The launch off the line, you really do need to have an idea of who's where. But the order changes quickly. But I guess you get used to that when you cover the stuff on the F1 weekend, because they don't really put the timings on until you get through like the opening sector. So it's basically your eyes just left with a complete blank screen. And I guess that is the joys of it as well. All the fun trying to identify cars. There'll be opening lap calls that you nail. There'll be other ones that you may not want to look back at for at least a few years. And that's the fun thing about motorsport broadcasting. It's basically kind of like driving in terms of there'll be days you're satisfied with. There'll be others that it didn't quite go to plan and you just got to learn and, you know, take a step forward. But it's a learning adventure, which is, I guess, the most fun part as well. Like, you're getting new challenges, you're getting new aspects of the job you're hitting, which, you know, I'm only into year... It's time to do some counting. Honestly, I don't have enough sleep to be able to count that. Wellerman's gone, by the way, to 4th. Okay, 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024, 2025, and 2026. I'm into my 7th year of commentary now. 7th year. However, there is a caveat to add. No, I'm not like 30 years old or something. That's not the case. That is not the case. It's just that I started very early on. And the early days, the commentary, let's just say, was on Roblox, and it wasn't the most, high professional standard thing. I mean, I tried to be professional, but I don't know how good I did at it. The voice was very squeaky. At that point, it was basically just shout at the screen and hope that words come out and, you know, trying to be the greatest thing in the world. But, you know, it's very much different in year 7. Very much different in year 7 of commentary. But yes, it's still fun. There's still new things I come across, including NASCAR at Brands Hatch. So, and also I've never commentated on the truck series in real life. The one race I did do was for the O'Reilly, which is basically Xfinity. But yeah, I've never actually done trucks myself in terms of actual commentary. So, we're talking about learning new things. Into year 7, I'm ticking off another thing off the list. And, you know, even if I do survive till my 50th year of commentary, who knows? There'll still be things to learn. There will still be moments that, you know, you just never have covered before. And that's the joyful thing. Anyway, I'm sure you guys have heard a lot of commentators waffle. That's what I'm doing at the moment. So, should I stop that? Should I stop that? And should I at least actually focus on some of the action? Of course, we usually like waffling on when they give us long qualifyings. In terms of 15 minutes. And I guess, you know, I just love talking. But don't worry, when it comes to the race, when it comes to the end of this session now, all eyes are glued on the screen, because why would they not be? So, Sprite's got the advantage at the front. Massaro 2nd place, Dantis Papen is in 3rd, Wellerman's 4th, George Gibbons 5th, and then it is Tiberio, Bartol, Brantos, Mayonet, and Glez. Perez is 11th, Lorenzo is 12th, and then comes Ryan Cole. Ibrahim is 14th. We find ourselves with Pozo 15th. Alan Sindler is in 16th at the moment in time. And the 2 names at the bottom of the timing board you can disregard, because one is me, and then the other is our safety car driver, Mr. Kasper Marciniak, who loves dominating things, who loves leading, and he will be leading the race, but only for about, hopefully, just 1 lap, because he'll be driving us off onto our formation lap. I wonder whether Casper Marciniak is listening into the commentary right now. I wonder whether he's got me turned up. And he's just listening because he's not driving. Well, right now he's not driving. And then he'll be in a safety car for a formation lap. I wonder whether he is listening to me. I wonder who is listening to me right now. Come on, guys. Confirm in the live chat. Who is actually listening at this point? Or has the waffling completely turned everyone's audio completely down on YouTube? I've not seen any chats coming. That's not good news. That is not good news. Okay, maybe I might be able to win some people back if I actually talk about what's going on in the circuit in the next 3 minutes. But we're building up, by the way. We're building up. Which is why I'm not specifically absolutely shouting about what's going on screen. Because, quite literally, there's nothing going on the timing board as of yet. And it's going to all start happening now, pretty much. Which is why we are focusing on it all. Lorenzo with a moment. That is the driver who is 12th in the order. And he's come into the pit lane as well. And Wellerman also with a moment off the road. And it's a trip to the pit lane for him, but he'll continue on. It's a 1 minute 25 point lap here. And then the drivers need to go back onto the circuit. That's the lap time. And then they've got 2 minutes and 30 seconds on the clock to get onto the circuit to do an outlap and then get back out. So it's not too much of an issue. But if they start having more mistakes across the board, that is when it will become an issue. Okay, deep breath. 2 minutes and 10 seconds to go. Dantis Papen fighting away with our car. Our double champion from season number 4. Making his way through. That's a lap coming in from Alan Sindelar. He's gone all the way to 11th. Let's jump on board with Dantis Papen round the final corner. 7/10 off at the moment. And he will remain 7/10 off, and now we'll go to a push lap. As he throws the car in, fights away with it on the apex and on the exit. And he's taking it nicely, under control. And now you're ready to go downhill. The elevation change at Brands Hatch, quite the challenge for these drivers. Get ready for the left-hand turn. Pozo goes directly behind the man who we're on board with, who was off the road. So a slight error for Dantis Papen on this lap. But we'll continue following him through. All over the grass on the exit. Trying to utilise all of the road and then some. Sprite's gone even quicker at the front. A 1 minute 25.316. And Sprite is looking to absolutely run away with this. That is an advantage and a half with 50 seconds on the clock to go. That is unbelievable from Sprite. That is fantastic. As Dantis Papen is getting all loose. This is a tricky combo. It's not a combo that you would expect of car, of circuit. But it is one that the drivers have to deal with. We've ridden on board with Dantis Papen for an entire lap. Where is this going to take him? It's been scruffy. It's been wide at a few points. And it was never going to be an improvement. And he'll be in third. Does Masaru have anything to produce to get himself closer? To get himself possibly just that little bit more nearer? But taking pole position will definitely be a tough ask. He's got traffic, he's got cars, and that's not what you want. 6 seconds to go on the clock. 4, 3, 2, 1. And over the line we'll go with Masaru. He's done. Sprite is done. The top two are in position, leaving it down to the rest of the drivers to try and improve. And improving and going up to P6 is Brandon Bartop. Bartop goes to 6th. Who else is finding some time? Can Given try and take it away? He's the driver P7. And he's reaching the conclusion of the lap as well. So, Given stands on the power, brings it up through the gears now, and aims for the checkered flag line. He's 1.6 seconds away. And when he sends it over the line, it's not an improvement. Not an improvement for George Given. What does Wellerman have? Can he try and get ahead of Pozo? Can he try and get ahead of Pozo? Can he possibly even go for Dantis Papen? No, not after that moment. He's off on the grass, and that is not ideal. That is not ideal one bit. He's off into the grass, and that is him done. Does Lorenzo have anything? Does Ryan Cole have anything? Cole's also on the grass. All over the circuit. We're waiting to see, does anyone have any lap time? Nope. Ryan Cole does not. Think Lorenzo's done as well. We'll wait and see though. We'll wait and see for our answer. I can definitely assure you, okay, so George Gibbons' checker flag has also come up. He's gone to the pit lane. I still, and yeah, okay, we're done. Pretty much done. Lorenzo's got off into the gravel, and we are done and set. And we have got a grid. Okay, so it will be Sprite next to Massaro, Spapen, Pozo, Wellerman, Bartop, Given, Tiberio, Brantos, and Glez, your top 10. In 11th, it will be Mayonertz, then Cinderella, Perez, Lorenzo, Cole. Perez is disconnected, so that's pushed him down, but he'll be 2 places higher up. And then Ibrahim down in 16th, and he'll be the last car in position if he gets back in the server. Same with Perez. All set. All ready. Now, it is time where I give you the disclaimer. Very important to mention and very important to say. Perez is back, by the way, so back in 13th. Once the lights go out, that does not indicate the start to the race. What will happen is that soon as the 5 shining red lights, well, it'll be 6 in Assetto Corsa, once they go out, we will have the safety car come from the back, and it will make its way to the front. And it will go static. It will get going, and the entire field will then follow it. That'll be the start of our formation lap. We've got 26 laps for a reason. It's a 25 lap race. 26 laps are set because one of the laps is for the formation lap. Then the safety car will pull off. It'll be over to Sprite to control it. Okay, the drivers have been given zones, different zones. And it is only till they get to the green zone where you may begin to make some overtakes. I will guide you all through it once we get going. But yes, for the moment it's a case of waiting. I will reset myself to the pit lane, of course. Nervy moments. George Given saying, I was so slow at lap 4. Anywhere after lap 4. Okay. Here we go. We're not going to be going racing. The drivers are revving up. But this will not be the start of the race. Okay, the safety car will be at the back. There it is, and it will drive to the front once 6 lights go out. Okay. So we'll jump on board with the safety car. This will be its position. And now wait, okay? So the lights will come on. It'll be very shortly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Pause. And go, if your name is Kasper Marciniak. And, I mean, they've not listened to it. I don't know who that is who's decided. It's Cinderella. It's Cinderella who has not followed the rules. And that is a bit of a shame. Okay, we are now in position. We now pause. We wait. And stop. And... okay, we're having to do it all over again. We're having to do it all over again. That's fantastic. Okay. I have no clue. I think they've had to... well, I think we've had to restart the entire procedure because Alan did that. Okay, well, I will get to talk you through it again. I'm not going to do it as in detail because I think you get the gist of it. I mean, I was hoping that all the drivers would maybe listen to my analysis of how to do things, but I guess not everyone's listening to me at the moment. Right, okay, let's try this once more. I'm going to jump on board because it gave us a good shot if anyone else leaves the line. We do not go racing once 6 lights go out. Kasper Marciniak is underway as he moves away from the line. Now wait. Patience, patience, patience. He'll get himself to the front. He will stop. And now he leaves the line and everyone else is allowed to go, and the formation lap in ACSL is underway. This is the NASCAR Truck Series race at Brands Hatch. It's in a completely different continent, but it's still going to be the same carnage. It's still going to be the same mess. Of course it will. So the drivers will have to go 2 by 2 in formation. And then it will be a waiting game. It'll be a waiting game as to them making their way through. Okay, once the safety car driver Kasper Marciniak pulls in, it'll be over to the rest of the field. And then they will need to do their best to try and keep this clean, to try and keep this good. It is a mandatory pit stop race, this, everyone. A reminder that you need to make 1 pit stop. You don't have to change anything necessarily, but you just have to stand still in your box. If not, it is a 120-second time penalty. We've got fixed setups for everyone, and blue flags apply as normal. Just a bit of information before we get going, and critical information as well. They are all lined up. Oh, contact! And we've had a bit of a mess in the middle of the pack. Brantos has gone round, and it is not what we wanted at all. So, we've had a few spins. George Givens off the road. Brandon Bartop's off the road. And it's... I mean, they were very clean last time we did this. We did it a few weeks ago in one of the events, and they did a very good job of it, but they've kind of messed this one up. It was messed off initially on basically what was now the dummy start, really, because we didn't actually end up committing with it. We had to restart the whole procedure, and they've messed it up again because they've now had contact and drivers have fallen all the way to the back. So it is not worked out cleanly as we predicted. They did it really, really well last time that we ran this procedure. This time they have not done it, and we're going to restart it again. We're going to have to restart it again now, and this is not ideal. So we're going to have to do the entire procedure again, and I'm not really... I don't think anyone's going to be pleased specifically with what they're seeing. Apologies for the delay at home. Okay, the drivers have just been told now of a message coming from race control. Okay, if a driver spins, let them go, and that is allowed on a real life formation lap. If you watch Formula 1, of course, but we're going to allow it this time around. Oh my word, we very nearly moved again off the line. And it's not going ideal, is this procedure? As I said, it worked well last time. Okay, we move away from the line and we are underway for the formation lap. Let's give this... What go is this? Is this go 3 now? I've lost count. I think it is go 3, isn't it? We're going to try this once more and hope it this time does play out. Apparently George Given has been given a penalty for going... He went first gear and he got a penalty. So where is George Given? Where is Given? We're down to 15. Okay, George Given's now at the back. I don't understand what has happened to George Given. I mean, he's given us a bit of an explanation in chat, but I don't. So he got a penalty and he got bogged down. Is that what happened? Okay, now do the drivers behave themselves this time? I really hope they do, because, you know, a lot of them are good racing drivers and have displayed that skill. But right now, to have a procedure restarted not once, not twice, but 3 times, is not a good look at all. It is really not a good look to have a procedure having to be repeated again and again and again. And I hope the drivers have learnt, because there was a very clear briefing, and they're very nearly making contact again in the mid-pack. I don't understand. They've been told about the 2x2 formation, and for some reason, there is very much confusion of accelerating, deaccelerating, and random cars, random trucks basically, putting on the brakes and everyone smashing into the back. That's what's causing the incidents, which it can happen from time to time, but Kasper Marciniak is doing a great job, by the way. And then the rest of the field is all just slamming into the back, and contact again. I think it's Diego Perez, the driver involved. He's one of the cars, one of the trucks that were sent round, and they'll be allowed to take their position until the safety car is still out there. Okay, we're very nearly there. Just got to bring it home a little bit more as they now go past our camera down there. Are we going to be able to get a race underway? It's going to be really interesting to see. And here we go. The safety car will dive in. It'll be over to Sprite. We've had a few mock goes at it. It's not worked out. This is the real thing. We're about to go racing. It might be a bit of a mixed up combo, this. It is NASCAR at Brands Hatch. It's the Truck Series. And in ACSL, we're underway and racing. And Massaro absolutely bolts off the line. Straight through into the lead by the time he gets down to turn number 1. Sprite was very slow to react as he brought them up to the line. And it means that he finds himself down in 2nd place. Papen is in 3rd. Do they all get through cleanly? And it appears like it's a bit of a mess. We've got a truck going round. Oh no, Dandis Papen. Papen is involved. Ryan Cole has gone off further back as well. And some of the chaos that we were predicting has happened. And Pozo finds himself in big trouble. And is everyone going to be able to take avoiding action? No. Brandon Bartot, I think, is another driver who's found themselves with not the start that they were looking for. And it's been a mess of a start, hasn't it? I mean, you expected it, but this is not going to do good for driver safety rating. And they should know that. And off the road, Massaro with a mistake. And he makes an error, and that is going to give Sprite the lead and the advantage by 2 seconds now. So there must have been a change back in position then. As here goes Dandis Papen down the inside of Alan Sindler, who goes off the road. We're side by side further back. Oh, and off. Surely would have been Lorenzo. Yeah, Lorenzo goes off the road, and he now has to rejoin. Very much now in a troubled position as we make our way round the final corner, and we're about to tick onto another lap. 3 wide down the straight. Are they keeping it clean? It just about looks like they are. So Tiberio finding himself diving to the inside. Wellerman is the car, is the truck going wide, and going very, very wide in the process as well. But it is Sprite with a 4.5 second advantage, and that is extraordinary as we go on to lap number 2. It is lap 3 on the board, but 1 counted as the formation lap, 2 of actual green flag racing. This is the second one of that. And we're seeing a few errors and a few mistakes come in from all of the drivers trying to get up to grips with these trucks around Brands Hatch. We're looking to see who's going to make some overtakes. Dandis Papen feeling brave and looking for it. No, but just ahead. That's going to be contact if they're not careful. And it is contact. George Given goes off the road and into the gravel. So Given is off. Tiberio is finding themselves in big trouble as well. It appeared like. Thought it would have been a bit more higher up when we cut to him. And oh, onto the grass. How is this one going to end? Contact. Alan Sindler comes in, sends one up the inside, sends Brantos off wide, and Tiberio is trying to go through on the pair of them. Round the outside goes Tiberio, and he will get a full car length ahead. Will, the driver, who was our Season 5 champion. Let's send it over the line and make our way down into the opening turn of this Brands Hatch circuit. Pozo is out. Pozo is done in terms of this race, and that is such a shame. As we see some more wheel-to-wheel action, Tiberio and Sindler. And it's going to be Tiberio with the inside line, hanging on up against Sindler. They're all just driving off the road into the grass. It is not the ideal race start for many. And now it is the point where you're going to get a lot of discussion after this race. There'll be quite a few points touched on. I can definitely assure you that right now. Of course, we're now racing, but the whole procedure at the start not going to plan on 2 occasions, then on the third we even had some further contact. Good job, by the way, to get in at least a bit of a ruling on that, because we would have had to restart for a third time had the message that came up on screen not come up. Well, we would have had to restart for a 4th time after it would have been a 3rd failure of a start. So, the trucks make their way through. The O'Reilly Auto Parts series for any NASCAR fans is going to be beginning soon, I guess. I guess as we're commentating on a NASCAR race, I guess we have to mention that there is a NASCAR race starting. Just the O'Reilly Auto Parts series later on, which is Xfinity, basically. Brandon Bartop goes to 11th further back as Lorenzo goes off the road. I think the NASCAR event that we held at Kansas Speedway a year ago now, when we held that I think worked out quite nicely. Here at Brands Hatch, it was always going to end in trouble. I basically did tell someone earlier that, guess what, I'm commentating NASCAR as, off the road goes Perez. Perez off the road. As he continues on. There's a move further up ahead. Dantas Papen has got past Wellerman. And Diego Perez is up against Brandon Bartop. Wellerman runs wide. So as I was trying to say, it was always, I mean, I was messaging someone and telling them that I've got NASCAR trucks. I've got the truck series here at Brands Hatch. And they basically told me that cars are just going to be off absolutely everywhere. It's going to be pure chaos. And I think that description was quite right. But we continue on nevertheless. As I say, safety ratings are not going to be good to look at after this race. Of course, I gave you the quick little inkling that it's not ideal, some of them. And this race is not going to do good to it. As Perez looks to try and now fight past Lorenzo. Lorenzo currently in 10th position. The reports for this race are going to be quite interesting. I'm sure the drivers have had lots of trouble with racing some of the other drivers across today. As Wellerman had a moment, yes, Perez on board, very nearly see a moment. Wellerman's out. Wellerman is out of the race, and he is done. So another retirement then from this contest. You're watching Kobe Maynard, our Season 1 champion, go to the chase now of Brantos. You've got Alan Sindler, who is also chasing down Tiberio as well. At the moment in time. Let's jump on board with Alan Sindler. Can he try and be a bit brave? Can he be bold to try and make this overtake? And look at the momentum he's got, but he's going to be off the road in the process. Fine having the momentum, but not having control over it could mean a bit of trouble. And trouble is exactly the case, because it's quite literally, if I told you it's a freeze frame, you would probably believe me. Because right now, stationary on the circuit is Lorenzo. There's no movement until now. The field are coming up. That's our leader. Oh, is he going to be able to avoid? That was so much more closer than he would have wanted. And it's on the racing line. Because some drivers run in deep there. And he's stationary. Can Spapen avoid it? And now it's a case of can everyone avoid the maze? Basically, that's been created on the circuit now. And not... Oh, no. We have a battle going on. This could end dramatically. And they just about avoid it. Tiberio and Sindler avoid it. Well done. I thought that could have ended so much more worse, considering we had plenty of shots of lots of other drivers finding themselves in trouble with it. I'm literally just keeping it on this camera if we're not getting some other wheel-to-wheel action, because this is a big hurdle. If anyone runs in deep, which in these trucks, as we've already seen, it's very easy to do. Who's coming next up? So is that just going to be now an extra barrier for the field to contend with? I don't know what's happened to Lorenzo. He's basically stopped and stationary, and that's... He's not reset to pit lane if he's out already. More cars coming. Oof, that was even close, sir. And I think that was the driver who is in 11th position of Ryan Cole, I think that would be. And we're back to now Sprite. And there we go, Lorenzo's gone right before Sprite comes. So another retirement from this race. Lorenzo is out in P12. So 11 remain. Let's watch some of the racing going on then. As Alan Sindler makes their way by, looking to the outside line. That is brave. Can they try and get the biggest cutback in the world? Better traction off the corner. Tiberio sliding all over the place. That's a moment further back for Brantos, who goes off the road, and that is not the sight that they wanted to see one bit. We cut back over to Sindler because they are dangerously looking close to sending it left or right or somewhere. That where is not right now. We aren't aware of that because it's right now so close. And he's looking everywhere around this circuit. On the power we go. As we go downhill. Here comes Tiberio. Story Tiberio looking to try and continue on. The pit window opens in 4 laps. Well, it is open, sorry, I should say, for 4 laps. That'll be a better way to phrase it. There's pit stop time very soon. Remember, they have to stop in the box. They have to do it properly. Did anyone come in? No. No, no, no. So you need to stand still in your box and serve a pit stop, but you don't have to change anything specific. Oh, Sindler gives a tap. So Sindler gives a little tap to Tiberio in the process as well. We're following on board because it's such a great camera to show you everything. Brandon Bartop's in. This is how hopefully a pit stop will go, because I know this is someone who has read the briefing, hopefully. Of course Brandon does read the briefings, because, you know, for the Octane Racing League, he's the one who has to provide it. He's the one who has to provide it for that league. And I'm sure he'll be very annoyed when people don't follow the briefing in his league. So I'm 100% sure that he follows it here and it's read it, which I mean I would hope is the case for all the drivers, because for this type of event you do need extra information, because it's not just a case of arrive on the scene, do the qualifying, set the fastest time. That was normal, but then heading into the race does not begin once is the word I'm trying to get out. 6 lights go out, and then of course they would have been told about the zones specifically, and also of course about the pit stops. So there was a lot of information, key information, which basically means if you don't do properly, you know, it's penalties and it's other severe punishments. Tiberio hangs on up against Sindler, who still can't fight a way by. Lap 11 of 26. The gap is 0.6 of a second. 0.5. It's ebbing, flowing, moving higher up, moving lower down. Just the way, isn't it? I can tell in the live chat. That George Given, unfortunately, is one of the drivers who's very much had the tricky day and has unfortunately come. I was just reading some of the information. Yeah, unfortunately, it's not been his day, and he's definitely one of the drivers who's not happy leaving today. So, continue following this battle then. Lap 12 out of 26. Of course, realistically lap 11 out of 25. Into the pit lane. Okay, let's go. Here we go. Pit stop time. Right, so Dantis Papen comes in. He's just come in. Stops. Gets going. Tiberio. Let's follow him. In he comes. Hits the pit box. Nearly. There we go. Stops. And I think he is possibly changing something. Directly behind Branches is not. So Tiberio, I think, did change something, which is why he was a bit slower. They're not required to, and that's the key point. You would think that a pit stop does require a change, but because they can handle the whole race, and it's just that we want to simulate a pit stop, that is why the drivers all have to at least make one mandatory pit stop. If they want to change something, feel free. It will just take more time. But that's a choice the drivers make, etc., etc. I'm really not looking forward to the safety ratings after this race. I was not looking forward to them last week, and what I can say is it didn't end well last week in terms of safety ratings. They didn't look the best for certain drivers, and I don't know what's going to happen with them. I haven't seen them, but I can also guarantee you that probably won't end up the best today. Sprite makes his pit stop. The race leader. Let me quickly identify for everyone who has made pit stops and who has not, because I think everyone's going to be interested in that. So, pit stop. Alan Sindler still has to bottom. He's in right now. Right on cue. Alan Sindler comes in. Let's see how he does it. Into the box. I think he's changing something because it's a bit more stationary. Not the case further up ahead, I think, for Mayonet, who's gone straight on. And we'll come over the line and continue on. So yeah, Sindler definitely changing some things, because it's a much more slower pit stop. It's very slow, in fact. Still stationary there, very slow. He's still stationary there. There we go. I think he's getting going now. That was a very slow one. He must have had a lot to change or something else going wrong. So we'll see. He'll rejoin the circuit and continue on. Right. Pit stop wise. So Sindler came in. Diego Perez has come in. And everyone else has made a pit stop. Brilliant. Everyone else has made a pit stop. That is great to see. Do we have more pits? Oh, what's going on now? What's going on here? We have most of the grid in the pit lane. Tiberia's still racing, Glez is still racing. What's going on? Do we have... Is there a... Have they all just decided to come in this lap? Something has happened. And... Well... We have everyone in the pit lane. Most drivers in the pit lane. Tiberia's going round. And I think that's it. That is it. And Brandon Bartop just saying, according to the game, pit stops consist of adding fuel or changing tyres. Now you'll have happy drivers. You'll have a bit of unhappy drivers in the case of Sprite probably, who was leading and was on course to get the win. I mean, I've done plenty of ACSL races and I've not seen a race called off. But also at the same time, I've not seen a situation... I've also not seen a situation where we have had any form of restart. We had to restart the entire procedure 3 times, and on the third one we got it right. So, yeah, I've never seen a procedure festival be cancelled and restarted multiple times. And then once we did get underway, it was quite a lot of chaos and yeah, it's not gone to plan. Sepe saying, what happened? I just tuned in. I mean, it's been a crazy day. As I've just said, we had the procedure get restarted about a few times because there was constant chaos and drivers weren't getting the procedure right. So that happened, and then it's been just chaos since we've been racing. Apparently George Gibbon got disqualified, and there's been other things that have gone on. So basically that's what's happened. The race is over. The race is over though, I can confirm that. That's what I can tell you in terms of what's happened and what specifically has gone wrong. Okay, well, I'm just receiving official word now. So, and the official word is that race is over, a server issue. Results will be taken from before pit window. So we are still going to get a result. So in that case, I assume it will be the last lap. I assume it would be the last lap, would it not? Before the pit stop. Interviews. I really don't want to speak with angry drivers at the moment. you're gonna get all the emotions coming up. I'd rather not get myself into that personally. Oh, fantastic. I'd rather not get myself into a lot of angry drivers just all in a call and me having to ask the questions. That does not sound like a good idea. I mean, no, it doesn't sound like a good idea because everyone's going to have bad things to say. And, you know, the obvious is out there, everyone. The obvious is out there. We've got to keep this broadcast nice and friendly. Nice and friendly. We can't have all of these swear words and everything coming out. I do get more time to do interviews, but now that this is finished a few laps earlier, I think I've got more time to now get on with a few other things to do. The drives will be cool, nice and calm, apparently. Well, I mean... First of all, I've got to leave the server. Let's get that done. I don't expect anyone to be nice and calm. I'll tell everyone the latest of what people are saying in the general chat, though. We'll still get some things from drivers. It's been a crazy day. Oh, the drivers are having a lot of fun. The drivers are having a lot of fun. Okay, well, in terms of that, I was intending, on a really, really great race. I was really hoping for one. But I think the tone was set there was going to be chaos. What type of chaos? Like, what type of chaos? No clue. No clue. But yeah, we got something. Definitely too much. Definitely too much to try and consume in. When, as I said, I should be in bed because I've not really had any sleep due to Shanghai. So yeah. Okay, just seeing the latest that's coming through. George Gibbons trying to get everyone to be calm, or else. That's a threat. That's not being calm, though, is it? Normal length interview. No one's calm. No one's calm at the moment. We had a threat coming. So no, it doesn't appear that way. Right. Okay. Deep breath. Well, I'd first of all like to say apologies to everyone who joined us and who watched in terms of we couldn't bring you the full contest as well. I'm sure after all of the delays and all of the procedure restarts, it wasn't the best, I'm sure, for everyone to wait through that, hoping for an absolutely brilliant race by the end of it, and then not getting treated with it. I don't think that would have been what any of you who tuned in would have wanted. So I'd like to apologise for that. Sometimes, there is always going to be some issues with server, and when we do like more complex races like this, where we have rolling starts, where we have to integrate procedure in, let's say the drivers get more control. Okay, the drivers get more control, and with that comes a bit more pressure. So they have to be very much careful with that. So yeah. It was a bit more complex. Some drivers possibly didn't really understand the briefing. I thought it was quite obvious, but maybe it wasn't as clear. So I think that definitely had a bit of an impact. Some people maybe just didn't understand it. I thought it was quite clear. I mean, I explained it to you nice and early in the broadcast. Maybe that's what's needed next time. Just have myself try and explain to the drivers what to do. But no, as I said, with it being more complex, there's more things that can go wrong. With it being more complex, things did go wrong. Let's just say. But it's a learning experience. Look, this has not happened in round 1 of the season. This has not happened in round 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. Okay? This has not happened in any rounds. It's not even happened in a preseason event. Okay? It was another wacky event where it was meant to be this way. It's an unusual combo. We've had unusual combinations. Okay? We've had that. And, the races have worked out. It was a NASCAR race that's also taking place, first of all, on a road course, which I know they do that in real life, but it's not the main thing of the series. Okay? And at the same time, you also have to consider the fact that I've completely lost my point because I've now just seen George Gibbon in the chat. Yeah, you also do have to consider the point of it's completely in a different continent as well. So, it was already set up as a bit of an event thrown in there to make an entertaining March. We're not doing a season, okay? We used to do the things just called fun races on Tuesdays, if anyone remembers back to that 1 year ago. And it's something that we've now gone used to and we've come used to it. okay, and just having some of these fun events and fun races. We returned back to that, okay? And as I take you now over to the calendar, here it is. As I take you over to the calendar, we've had our racing in the BMWs 1 week ago. That brought a bit of chaos, okay? NASCAR, it's a race that's been called off early. DTM, that could be really exciting. And then we've got pre-season testing as well, a pre-season event at Hockenheim for the M2 Cup. So that is what we have to come. And as you can see, it's all different events. Some will work, some will not. Okay, and this will be a learning experience. In terms of NASCAR, can NASCAR work in ACSL? Absolutely. Quite literally, go back and watch 1 year ago's race from Kansas Speedway. Look, we've left you empty-handed, but if you've not seen the NASCAR race at Kansas Speedway 1 year ago that we did in ACSL, let me know. Well, let me know first of all in the live chat, and then go over and see it. Okay? It had chaos, but let's be honest, if you put on NASCAR in real life, do you get chaos? Yes. You get a lot of chaos in NASCAR. You get cautions thrown out constantly. NASCAR fans will know. We had a chaotic race, but we had battling all the way through, and we got through. The procedure was respected, and everyone did a great job 1 year ago. So, can NASCAR work? Yes. But I think it might be possibly something that in the future might only be for, I think, specific rated drivers. Because now with the safety rating, it might just be that, you know, people who can be trusted to read briefings and go off that. And, you know, if that happens, then I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to seeing how it's going to all take place. But we've got some exciting events still to come, and let's hope we can try and recover this March and get some anticipation going before the season. No interviews, as I mentioned today, because first of all, we've not really had a race, and there's going to be a lot of angry drivers after the race, so we're not really going to speak with anyone specifically. We will let them all relax. You know, we don't have an official result even yet to speak about. I mean, we can have a look, we can take a guess, absolutely, but I'll just wait for the official one. And what we will do is conclude this broadcast. I continued on a bit longer because, of course, we did get you here for a certain period of time. I wanted to make sure at least we kept you here for a certain period of time. So, yes. Okay. Well, thank you very much for joining us. Apologies that we could not bring you a full contest. And apologies for some of the delays as well. The safety ratings, well, I'm looking forward to seeing what will happen to that and when they're publicly released as well. So it's going to be really exciting and fantastic to see. Maybe not for the drivers, but I guess for all of us outsiders looking on and watching everything play out. We'll be back in a week's time for DTM. Let's see how it's going to play out. Let's see what we're going to get. But today, it's been chaos. Let's just be honest. It's been NASCAR. Just imagine. A lot of rain came down. We lost the circuit. And that was the end of it. It's been ACSL and it's been NASCAR. On possibly, let's just say, a wet day at Brands Hatch. I've been there. I know how it's like. Okay, thank you very much for joining us. And we will see you in a week's time for more ACSL action. Goodbye.